Hi everyone, welcome to my homeowner series. So I can't believe that it's about to be 4 years since we bought this house and time really has flown by. So in honor of this milestone, I had this great idea of creating a homeowner series where I share all the real and raw truths about what exactly happens when you own a home. Everything I wish I knew, what worked, what are some of my regrets, and honestly, just all the lessons I learned along the way during this 4-year course of us owning our property. If you don't know already, my name is Gabby. I'm your mom friend in real estate here in the New Jersey suburbs. And my goal for this channel is to be your #1 resource when it comes to all things real estate and moving in New Jersey. I know that in my previous videos, I've focused a lot on helping buyers achieve this goal of home ownership, talking about how to buy a house, top 10 mistakes that home buyers make when they're looking for a property, just all of the educational content that revolves around the process and how to actually obtain it. But now that I'm a homeowner myself, I do think that it's also very important to just talk about the reality of what it's actually like owning a home. I just want to give you both the positives and the negatives of what it's actually like behind closed doors. So with that, let's get started. Owning a home is incredibly rewarding, but honestly, it's a journey, and it's one that I wish I was more prepared of. My mom was the first person I sold a house to 7 years ago. I was just used to having a tenant mindset, and honestly, growing up, I just remember wishing that I had at least just my own room, because me and my sister shared a 1-bedroom, and we rented a 2-bedroom unit in which my mom converted the dining room as her bedroom using these cabinets as dividers so that she has her own space. And then there were times where we subletted the other bedroom so that it will help supplement my mom's income and be able to afford just having a roof over her head. My mom moved here as an immigrant and she was here to work, to make money. Owning a home is something that's not even talked about because it's something they didn't even think was possible. And that is why I was so drawn to being a real estate agent, to educate families like mine, to let them know that it's possible to buy a home, that home ownership is something that is not reserved for just the rich. You know, that there are down payment assistance programs and there are first-time home buyer grants that is available for you. And there's an FHA loan that allows you to put down 3.5% down. It's really where my passion came from with real estate, because it's all about empowering people, families, to let them know that anything is possible, especially home ownership. But I didn't have a lot of education about what it's actually like to be a homeowner. And that's why I'm sharing all of this with you. It's to give you a real sense of what to expect when you're buying your first home, or just if you're in the earliest stage of thinking about buying a home. So let me just start with the biggest decision. Why did we decide to buy a home? I always knew that if I ever move out of the house, it would be to buy a property. At the time, maybe about 5-6 years ago, my husband was renting an apartment in Newark, and that is where we lived. The main reason why we were super motivated to buy a property at the time was because we were pregnant. We were just starting a family, and I felt that I had to fast track our dreams because now we have another person that we have to take care of. And we just really want to make sure that we provide her with everything that she needs and more. Basically provide her with more than what we had when we grew up. When I was finally pre-approved to buy a property, we stepped on the gas. We were just ready to go. We couldn't find a property. But at the time in 2021, it was a very competitive market. It's still competitive now, but at the time, it was just something that not a lot of people have seen before. We were really motivated and we were submitting offers left and right. But we were an FHA buyer. I was representing myself, putting 3.5% down, and I wanted a seller's concession. So that was gonna be a challenge, especially because we were competing with all these offers that have higher down payments. They're not asking for seller's concession. And if you don't know what that means, by the way, that's when you ask a seller to pay some of your closing costs. So essentially, if your offer is $500,000, for example, and you ask for a $10,000 seller's concession, they're really only getting net $490,000 because the $10,000 is going to be wrapped around your mortgage for the seller to then give it to you to pay for the closing costs. So it wasn't gonna be easy. We looked at townhomes, we looked at single family homes, we even looked at a place that was farther than where we are now. And I'm so glad we didn't because I just feel so far now from where we live. When when you compare it to the location where we actually wanted to live. But then we found this property. It's a single family ranch style home, 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. It's completely renovated by an investor, and it has a fully finished basement with almost an acre of land. So it's about, our land is 0.75, so 3/4 of an acre of land. And it was 20 minutes away from my mom, but the 20 minutes that is farther away from the city. And at the time, we really didn't mind because whatever it is we find was going to be an upgrade. It was going to be a beginning of, our family growing. And as long as my daughter had her own room, our dog Bella has a yard, and I really wanted to have an office space, and Bruno really wanted to have some sort of extra bedroom so that whenever his parents come, we have a guest room. Those are some of our priorities. We found that in this house. And now you're probably asking, how did you get your offer accepted in a very competitive market with a home that's fully renovated? So I got really lucky because the agent who represented this house actually was the investor and the owner or part owner of the house. I'm just gonna be very honest. The pictures weren't the best. There were certain decisions they made to upgrade the home that wasn't the best of quality. Let me just call it that. I also believe that they priced it a little bit on the higher side. So with all those 3 things combined, not the most professional photos, not the best quality materials used, and not pricing it very competitively. And also we were a little bit farther away from the city. And as you move away from the city, the less competition tends to happen. So we got really lucky in that way. But because I go in and out of homes all the time, I saw the value. And I didn't care that much about some of the quality materials they chose. For example, they used butcher block for our countertops at the time. And I didn't care that much. And then all the appliances were in stainless steel. They kept it white. So at the end of the day, what really attracted me was the property size, the lot size of the property, the square footage of the interior, how many bedrooms it had, and the fact that it was really move-in ready. Even though some of the materials weren't top of the line, we didn't care because we could just move in and change it as time goes by. So that was how we found our home. So now let's talk about some of the smart and dumbest decisions we made. So the top one smartest decision we made, and I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not, but the best decision we ever made was representing myself and using my commission to pay for our down payment and asking for a seller's concession to pay for our closing costs. It just made us buy our home for like $2,000, $3,000, which is insane, and helped us so much because we just had a baby. So we were gonna be buying a lot of things for her. And then another smart decision we did was not listening to the outside noise. There were many people at the time saying that it's not the best market to buy in because the competition was just too much. People were outbidding each other and that prices were too high. But we didn't care because we needed to do what we had to do for our family because we needed to change our lifestyle. It was more than just an investment. Even though as a real estate agent, I know that it's an investment, but it was just more than that. There's no way we would stay in a 3rd floor apartment in Newark with no designated parking spot and have a baby and go up and down those stairs with a stroller. That was just not gonna happen. So halfway through my pregnancy, we actually ended up moving to my mom's unit. She had a free room, so we decided to live there, but it was also a 2nd bedroom, and that was gonna be temporary because there's no way we were gonna raise our family there. And I was not paying for a luxury apartment. I'm glad we did because now prices have gone up and it's really changed our lives owning this home. But I do want to go over some of the dumb decisions we made. First, we didn't account for a lot of maintenance costs. I was so focused on just getting the home, and I remember thinking, we'll figure it out as we go. I didn't really plan too much for, having a land means that we're gonna have to get a landscaper, or Bruno's gonna have to take the time out of his day instead of helping me take care of our daughter to mow the lawn. Having a bigger square footage home means that I may need a cleaner too, because I was the main caretaker while I'm also building a business and doing all these extra things. And not to mention, we didn't care that garbage was extra charge in our town. Some towns in New Jersey, it's wrapped around your property taxes, so you don't have to pay extra garbage fees, but we do. So we have to pay that. It's minimal, but all those little things add up. We really focus a lot on just finding the property, getting it, and then figure it out as we go. Second dumb decision, we were so excited that we were able to save a lot of money by using my commission as down payment and getting a seller's concession to pay for closing costs. So our out-of-pocket cost to buy the house was really little. to nothing. But because we were so excited, now the other savings we had left, we ended up using it to buy a lot of brand new furniture. And boy, did I not know or realize exactly how much furniture costs. And we were also buying a lot of baby gear. Luckily, I did have a baby shower and a lot of people gave us presents, but all of those things combined, it was just a lot of extra expenses we didn't account for. And that's how we acquired this property. I hope you got some great and juicy information in this first episode of my homeowner series. In the next video, I'm going to take you through our first year of living in this home, how we balance moving in with a new baby, and the ups and downs of being first-time homeowners. And that's it. If you're thinking about buying a home, especially because your family's growing and you're expecting, I highly recommend that you keep watching through this whole series to give you an insight of what you should expect moving forward. I'll be sharing some of my experience as a new mom, new homeowner, and honestly, just newlyweds as well, while also being working parents. It was a challenging but yet rewarding time, and I think that if a lot more people opened up about what actually happens behind closed door, then the more people we can help. So I hope you like this video. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye for now.